You feel that now? I feel like Rocky in this one, baby. Let's go. Alright, check it. Blast from the past, back from the future. So if I pull the trigger in the past, know you and your future. I'm still hustling, still hugging the block. The referee to the shit.
Welcome to the show. It's your host, Rick Gates. This is episode 202, and it is the season finale of season 15. Today, we have a very special guest, and really special. So I met this man via the IG. I slid in his DMs very smoothly.
Very smoothly, I gotta
for
say.
a while. And he is a producer for MSG and ESPN, and he's on the very popular morning show, which is one of my favorite shows, DPHO and Rothenberg in the morning from ESPN. Ray Santiago, ladies and gentlemen. Ray, welcome to the show.
Appreciate you having me,
Do
man.
you? Is it Ray or Raymond? Which one is there a preference?
You know, it's weird because I always get Ray and I always get Raymond, and I never really had a preference. Whatever you want to call me, like,
Really?
as long as it's not outside my name, I'm straight. Like,
So I'm Ricardo and Rick. I kind of like lean towards Rick because it's much easier, you know?
right, like, as long as it's easy, like it's all good. But I you know, being Latino, you used to you hear your name short all the time, and then when it's in a negative tone, like if you were in trouble with your mom,
So if
Raymond.
if you were in trouble, it was Raymond, and I'm pretty sure you have a middle name. Let's go.
Raymond Andres Santiago. Like, damn,
Ricardo Antonio, ven aquí.
I messed up.
Okay. So
messed up.
what does mom call you? Does she call you Raymond or she calls
No,
you Ray?
oddly enough, they because I just told you my middle name is Andre. It's
Yeah.
after my grandfather.
Oh, you got the really Latino thing where they call you Andres at home.
Well, no. They don't even go Andres. They called me Andy growing up. They called me Andy growing up, bro.
I figured it out immediately.
Yeah. So and like, you know, that's still something that members of the family call me. Like, I'm older.
Yeah.
Like it don't really kind of fit, but like I let them do that because, you know, what am I gonna? I'm gonna tell my aunts that they can't call me that. You know,
It's gonna cause you some problems because when you meet someone and you're dating someone, you'll be like, "Hey, I'm Ray." You come to the family reunion, and everybody's calling you Andy. Did you lie to me, Raymond? Did you tell me your wrong name?
That's a true story. That actually has happened. That has happened.
It has?
Like after the fact, you're going like, "What's this Andy?" Like, that's just what the family nickname. You don't have a family nickname? I thought that was another common thing with Latinos. Like they have a nickname at the house. Because on my mom's side of the family, everyone got called a name that was not their name.
Exactly. Oh,
So
go ahead.
So my mom they call Rudy or Tita. Her brother was Juan. They called Tito. Older brother Rafael, but they call him Papi. No, I'm serious.
No, I got you. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm gonna go down my list.
I'm trying to see who else had a weird name. But, you know, stuff like that down the line. Like, it didn't happen on my dad's side, the Puerto Rican side as much, but like on the Dominican side, like
So
all
give me the
time.
PR side. I have a soft spot for Puerto Ricans. So give me the PR. Or what do they call your dad? They probably have a nickname for him though.
No, they call my dad Raymond because
Raymond,
I'm named
okay.
my first
So
name's after
they
the dad.
can't call you Raymond
Well, that's
at
the thing. Like I got pictures of like birthday cakes when I'm a baby and stuff. It's like Lil Ray on it, and I guess they just didn't like saying Lil Ray. So now
Lil Ray.
So they started calling me Andy on that side too, and that's just kind of how it goes, man. So I deal with it.
I'm gonna give you the nicknames. Here we go. I got an uncle named Jose. They call him Gomita. So all right.
Actually, that's another one because I had the oldest uncle on my mom's side was named Jose because that was my other grandfather's name. So he was the firstborn. They named him Jose. Never in my life until I was in high school that I hear somebody call that man Jose. They call him Pascual, and I always thought that was his name. So
I got a couple of those. So I got an uncle named Rafael. They call him Martin. Martin is his middle name. My godmother, her name is Petronila. I'm going to say that one more time. Petronila. And they call her China. And
I get it.
my aunt, well, this one's very common. My aunt Isabel, they call her Chavela, which is, Chavela is the nickname for Isabel. So, yeah, my grandmother's name is Ana, and they call her Nena. And my grandmother, Ana, has two cousins, Pipi and Kaka. Not making that shit up. Not making that shit up. So when we were younger, we're sitting around and my grandmother's telling the story about Pipi and Kaka. She's like, oh, you know, se murió Pipi, this and this and that. So my Aunt Candida, which they call Juandi, my Aunt Candida says, oh, Y Caca, like joking around.
Yeah.
Oh, Caca se murió hace años atrás. This and that. And we're all laughing like, really? These are the nicknames? And then Candido was like, I'm not going to ask about Churia. I'm going to just leave it right there. So, yeah, we share. I get it. So, I'm going to call you Ray. Makes it easier for
I
the show.
appreciate it.
So, your dad's Puerto Rican, your mom's Dominican.
Yes, sir.
What was that like growing up? Because, there was like that brother sitting rivalry.
Everyone got something to say about that, man. And I know you're audio man over here.
My producer Kama's also.
It's like he understands. Like people always got something to say. Oh, you Puerto Rican and Dominican. Your parents must fight a lot, or like it must be a war at your house. Like, bro, like it ain't. I feel like my upbringing not any different than anybody else's, like on the Puerto Rican side or the Dominican side. The only time things get tense when it came to being Puerto Rican or Dominican is when they met up in the World Baseball Classic. A few years back when they had the championship.
Yeah,
I felt bad for my dad that time because DR won all 3 games, bro. Like,
but Puerto Rico was
like Puerto Rico
coming.
Puerto Rico was.
I actually was cheering. I was cheering for PR that year because that team
was
Baez,
fun. Yeah,
Lindor. Was the other shortstop that he's amazing, but he went to Minnesota and Carlos Correa, and then Edwin Diaz, guy underrated Puerto Rican player I really like a lot is Eddie Rosario from the Braves.
Rosario. I liked him. Yeah.
So I've always liked Puerto Rican.
I liked Angel
players.
Pagan too. I enjoyed him. Like he wasn't a great player, but like he was like an easy dude to root for. So.
Favorite guy that I enjoyed watching. Because when I was younger, I watched the Yankees a lot, so I was kind of a Yankee fan. Was Bernie Williams.
That was my guy. My absolute favorite player. Like any ball player that I ever got to see, because everyone like the real like the GOAT is Roberto Clemente. But like the players that I got to see, my favorite player was Bernie Williams, bro. When he like everyone talks about core 4, all this like you understand one
why Bernie wasn't in there. Yeah.
Bernie was there first.
Yes.
First. Second.
Him and Jorge.
Second. My man was the cleanup hitter on the greatest team of all time. Think about that. You don't talk about that, not the 98 team, but he was the cleanup hitter. The mid-90s, all the way through to 96, 97, 98, 99. The number 4 hitter was always number 51. And my man had, until Manny Ramirez went crazy when they expanded the playoffs, my man had the home run record for the postseason for years.
For a while, yeah.
For years. People don't talk about that, man. I feel like he's a Hall of Fame player. Probably not. Like, he probably ain't never going to get in. But because he doesn't have enough of the numbers. But my man at his peak, Gold Glove, batting title, he was nice. He was that dude.
So I'm going to say something right now. Yankee fans might get mad at me. A lot of people say, when my son grows up, hey, look at Derek. That's the type of player you want to be. I'm not going to say that.
Nah.
I'm going to say, hey, look at Bernie. Look how Bernie carried himself. Part of the reason that started this, me moving away from the Yankees, was the way they let go of Bernie. Bernie wanted to come back. He was willing to be that 4th outfielder, but he really wanted to start.
He was, yeah.
And they pushed him out. Jorge Posada got pushed out. Alex Rodriguez got pushed out.
Different reasons for Alex Rodriguez.
No, different reasons, but him and Mark had very similar numbers, Mark Teixeira. Mark was allowed to stay and play. A-Rod got pushed out immediately, and they were having a very similar season. So I just started seeing the way the office operated with Black and Latino players.
I get it, yeah.
And I didn't feel comfortable with it. And then my mom, she's always been a Mets fan. She always raved about the Mets and all this stuff. And I always loved Pedro. So when Pedro became a Met, it kind of sealed it for me. Like, hey,
I get it, because when Pedro came to the Mets, and again, I'm not a Met fan, but I do kind of enjoy when the Mets are successful. But because when Pedro came to the Mets, he became a lot more likable to me. Yeah. like I used to hate him, bro.
And then it was him, Carlos, Beltran,
yeah, that team was fun.
Delgado,
that team was fun.
Jose Reyes, David Wright. I'll take it.
So you totally right about that. They seem to embrace that culture a little bit more in Flushing.
So that's why I was like, all right, I'm a Knicks fan just like you. I've suffered all my life. The Yankees won 4 championships. Well, 5. I'll count the A-Rod one in my lifetime. I've seen enough winning. Let me root for an underdog. Let me really invest my fandomhood into, because I took time before I made this adjustment and I still feel I made the right choice, even though
I respect it. How old were you at the time, though? Because
I was in college. I did see the World Series against the Phillies. There's photos of me wearing Yankee hats and Yankee jerseys.
Right.
I was all about it. It just the Bernie thing left a sour taste in my mouth, really sour. And Bernie didn't come back for a couple.
I
of
can
years.
understand it. Well, think Bernie didn't retire until like almost 10 years later.
Mhm.
Like, and my man was like,
He was not willing to play for any other team. And he's got offered a lot of money.
you-
Boston,
yeah.
Tampa.
Yeah, I always come back to like that year he became a free agent, and like he was gonna sign with Boston, bro. Boston was gonna sign Bernie
They
Williams,
were
and
going
I
at
was
him hard.
prepared for it, bro. My heart was about to break over that. It's like, damn, bro, they really gonna let Bernie Williams sign with freaking Boston, bro. I thought it was gonna happen, and then like at the last minute, like he like I guess the story goes, he went to the stadium and he took a look around. It's like, nah, man, I don't want to leave. I want to be a Yankee. So like him and Cashman came to an agreement Brian Cashman is real popular these days. I know.
Yeah.
And listen, he ain't popular with me either. So if you listen to the
I feel
show
like
lately,
he's built a career on something he didn't put too much into.
and that's what we keep like kind of forgetting. I've been, this week's a lot of topics have been like, oh, well, they ain't had a down season since '92, which I barely remember because I was like 7 years old at the time.
I remember
like,
those.
But,
yeah.
But like something to remember. Brian Cashman wasn't the GM in 1992,
Wasn't.
man. That was a Bob Watson, Stick Michael type of thing going on.
And the four,
they were all drafted.
The four,
Yeah.
that was all genes. Brian Cashman came in I think in '98.
Right. He was like the
98 or
assistant.
99.
He was like the assistant.
Yeah.
And then Bob Watson stepped away. Like, I'm done. I'm good. We won. I'm good. I'm straight.
And they made him
Cashman's
the GM.
been GM ever since.
So
and nobody's even come close. The closest dude to him in terms of tenure, they just fired him in Chicago with the White Sox. Kenny Williams and Rick Hahn. Like now, the second tenured guy is not even close.
So my thing, 2009 is the only championship you could accredit, rightfully so, to him. And I also, my last point, what really pushed me over the edge was how they treated Jeter when he became a free agent. I've always been not a Jeter hater, but I've always been very critical of him. So I didn't believe he deserved, like 5-tool player money because Jeter never gave you the power, but what you didn't get in the power, you got in the clutchness and you got in
No doubt.
the professionalism. Nothing but it's just like Michael and Kobe. I didn't root for them when they played, but after they retire, you have to give those guys hats off, full respect. The way Jeter carried himself, and the guy really had to, and they did it this offseason with Judge. Jeter really was like, you guys are not going to pay me what I've earned already?
And it's crazy because, their angle is always like, oh, well, we can't justify giving that type of contract. Like, okay, if you're in a salary cap sport, that argument works. Like, if you're doing that in the NFL, you're doing that in the NBA, NHL, all right, you got a point. There's no salary cap in baseball, bro. You could pay anybody whatever you want. Yeah, you got to dip into the luxury tax, but that wasn't a thing back then. Like they could have afforded to give Derek Jeter whatever he wanted.
I mean, it's Derek fucking Jeter.
So,
and I'm not a Yankee fan. I go into that meeting. So, Derek, 4 world championships. You're a free agent now. We know you don't want to go anywhere else. What's your number? This is our number. Let's meet.
And he never got over that.
You could see it in the documentary. It kind of made it and the guy gave you everything. And
literally broke his body for you, bro.
For you specifically. And I've never been like a hardcore fan. I think he was, if you take him out of the Yankees give him more of they make him a bigger star than what he is. But if you put him somewhere else, he's still an all-star player. He's still a 3,000 hitter.
No doubt.
So I didn't like that. So that's why it moved me away from them. That really is. So that's why I'm a Mets fan. So I hope Cabo understands me a little bit better.
Oh, in a roundabout way, man, because some certain people I work with, and I don't know how many other shows on the station you listen to.
I listen to a couple, yeah.
Right, so you listen to the K Show, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Fellow
I met Michael a couple times.
Did you meet Don LaGreca?
I haven't met Don.
He would call you a fraud. He would straight up call you a fraud for doing that.
Wait. But who's the guy with the devil's tattoo on his leg?
That's Don LaGreca.
Okay,
Oh,
thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to tell you,
Thank
though.
you. Thank you.
His
And he works for
argument's
the
gonna be
Rangers
like-
now. He's a Rangers fan. So he
Exactly,
can't call me
exactly.
that. So, but my thing is, I wasn't just like, you got to be 21 to drink. I wasn't old enough to make a sound decision. Every person in my family was a Yankee fan except for my cousin Desiree. So I went I grew up in Washington Heights. That's right across, and everybody around me was a Boston fan because they were Dominican. And my family always rooted for the Yankees. My grandmother's favorite player is Derek Jeter. My cousin, diehard Yankee fan, works for the front office now. So I was a Yankee fan, but then I decided to make a sound decision. I decided what I felt better for.
My man
and
said
I've always
I
been
didn't possess the maturity or the mental
I didn't,
capabilities to root for
didn't.
the proper team.
To
man.
root for the
I wish
proper
I could
team
use
back
that
then.
excuse.
Yeah. And then, I was like, shit, man, I got the Wilpons as owners. This is going to be a terrible run, but
Yeah,
it is what it
I'm gonna
is.
give you credit. You made that decision at a time that you probably I don't know, man.
this was just off the 2009 championship. And I was like, because A-Rod's always been my guy. There's some stuff. Yes, he deserves the heat on, but I don't think he still gets the proper respect for the stuff that he did on the field. The guy, if he would have played shortstop a couple more times.
I think everyone agrees about A-Rod that he's one of the most talented players, and he didn't need to do any of that extra stuff.
Naturally.
But he similar to Barry Bonds, kind of probably felt pressure to do so. And we talked about Jeter. Like the reason Jeter succeeded is because I don't think Jeter really cared what people thought. He just kind of did what he did.
Went about it.
For A-Rod, as nice as he was, he cared about people liking him. He wanted people to like him.
He did. Same with LeBron.
Yeah.
It's the trauma syndrome. The father wasn't involved. They really wanted to be liked and loved by the public. But that's why I'm an A-Rod fan, but I respect Jeter 1,000% more because he had a ton of pressure and the guy delivered. And that's all I'm going to say about the Yankees right there. So what got you into producing, Ray? Well, you produce for MSG and ESPN.
Right.
What got you into that? Is that something you wanted to do or you wanted to be a ball player? Your dad's Puerto Rican, your mom's Dominican.
Well, I'll tell you straight up, I wasn't good enough to be a ball player. I can tell you that straight up. That wasn't even close. But my thing I played in school was football. I played football.
Okay.
When I was sophomore, junior year, I probably weighed 150. I needed to grow.
150.
I probably weighed 150 that sophomore year. I needed to put some time.
You needed a lot more weight on you.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I didn't realize it. I was like, I'm big enough. I'm straight. And I never got hurt. Oddly enough, I didn't have a real injury until my senior year, and it was a freak injury. I dislocated my shoulder, and that kind of stuck with me my whole senior year. But other than that, I never had any real And
it's one of those bad ones because it once you do it once,
yeah.
Well, could occur a couple more times.
Anytime I was doing anything, man, I'd be playing basketballs, so I block a shot and it would shift. It hurts like a bitch, bro, when that happens. So for the longest time, I dealt with that. I never got it taken care of, but I found getting stronger, strengthening the muscle around it, just doing exercise over the years, it doesn't really happen anymore. So
I mean, you were
figure,
150.
But okay, not when the injury happened. I was probably 175, 180 by that point. But just trying to stay healthy. That's all it comes down to. But I always thought maybe I could go play football. That wasn't gonna happen. So straight up, in high school, I decided I want to get into broadcasting. We had a little broadcast thing at the high school, but I wasn't really involved.
What high school did you go to? In Jersey.
Perth Amboy High.
Okay.
So I'm from Amboy. I grew up in Amboy. I lived there for 20-some years. My folks are still there, both my mom and my dad.
He's a Yankee fan. He's a Jersey guy.
not for nothing. There was a lot of Met fans around us too. It's odd because my dad's a Met fan. But
your dad's a Met fan. I love your dad even more now.
But you know what's crazy?
That's why Dave loves him.
But you know what's crazy? My dad grew up in the Bronx, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, my dad grew up 20 blocks from the stadium. He used to cut school and go to opening day. So because
I'm a Met fan. I cut school to go to the '96 parade. But how'd your dad end up being
the story he gives me is that the Mets and he have the same birth year. The Mets were 1962. My mom and my dad were both born in 1962. He was 7 years old when they made the first.
For 86.
He was around 69.
Yeah.
But like, you know, so he kind of just fell in love with the "you gotta believe" and all that stuff. So he became a Met fan. He still like roots for the Yankees in his own way. But if the Mets and the Yankees meet each other, he's all Mets. He's all Mets.
Where's mom's allegiance? Like,
I think mom just wants whoever makes us happy.
Oh,
I feel like she's in that type of situation. I never seen mom root openly, except for, again, World Baseball Classic when DR was taking it to PR. She was talking her shit for that one.
I mean, I don't know if you've been to a game in DR. There's nothing.
Yo,
like
I want
it.
to so bad. Actually, you know what?
Been to a few games. I'm an Aguilucho fan.
Well. See, if I had a team, it would be them. It would be them.
It would be the Águilas.
Because that. But that's why I'm excited, because you saw, like, in November they got them playing Licea at City Field. So I'm trying to see if I could. I'm trying to see if I can hit that up at some point at one of those games.
I'm definitely gonna try to go to think
November,
they got two. Licey and Las Águilas are playing in City Field, bro. We gotta
like the
go.
12th, November 12th to November 14th, I think.
We gotta go. There's a couple things. There's also the John Jones fight at MSG that I want to see. John's probably one of my favorite fighters of all time, and he's finally gonna defend his belt here in MSG. It might be his last fight, so I have to go to that. And that's another thing I have marked off. So yeah, my Aguilas
We
guy.
sure that's his last fight though?
It might be.
Sure?
If he beats Stipe, it's his last fight for sure. 100%. I don't think he'll.
How old is
Legacy
he now, man?
cemented. He's 30. He's got to be 35, 36, 37.
He's younger than I
Legacy
thought.
cemented. You beat the greatest heavyweight of all time. There's no way he's 36. Yeah.
Damn. I thought he was older, man.
There's no way he's gonna.
40.
I mean, the guy's the youngest light heavyweight champion of all time still. So yeah, I mean, if you go to a baseball game in DR, your grandmother will be out there yelling and cussing at the players. That
Oh yeah,
is
no doubt, no
insane.
doubt.
There's cheerleaders.
But
Instead of beer, there's Brugal. It's amazing.
But because I see those games on TV from time to time. Like, there were a lot of nights where I'd be late working at the station, and we get any kind of sporting event like on the TVs in there. So I would get the winter ball, bro. I'll get the Liga Dominicana in there all the time. So I'd be seeing all the games up there. Like, bro, that looks like so much fun. They drinking, they partying, they got cheerleaders up in there.
They have
bro.
cheerleaders over the dugout. It's just the noise is insane. Everybody's into the game.
And I keep telling, like, bro, if they had some of that stuff here, bro, like, baseball's boring. How can we make baseball more, or like,
just watch the World Baseball
Do some of the stuff we do in the Caribbean, bro. Do some of that.
Watch the World Baseball Classic. So if you wouldn't be producing shows, what would you be doing at this point? Eventually?
That's a good question, man. Because honestly, I've been doing this for so long now. Like, I just dude, I've been with ESPN 15 years.
15.
I came out like almost straight out of school, and like I wasn't working full time with them right away. I was doing like 10 hours a week. I was doing side jobs. I worked for a bunch of different companies. I worked for NBC. I was doing, when they first got Football Night in America, Sunday Night Football.
Oh, that's not. I worked for ESPN.
No.
While I was doing that, I was in NBC. You know.
Well, no, because it wasn't like a consistent job. I would just come in like once a week. I help out with like the editing and the highlight packages. Like, it was just something to help me get by. I would do some freelancing here and there. I actually substitute taught for a while, like back in my hometown.
Interesting.
Not really, bro. Like, let me tell you something. If I could go back and do certain things, bro, I would not. Bro, my respect to anybody who became a teacher. My mom just retired. She wasn't a teacher. She managed the office at the middle school. And boy, bro. And like, the reason she's retiring now instead of a few years down the road, she's fed up. She's done, bro. Like, she's like, I can't deal with this anymore. Like, the administrators get like. They make it real hard for the teachers, bro, to have any sort of. I
mean, teachers are always trying to do GoFundMes to get supplies and stuff like that. So
yeah, but not even that.
The
but
curriculum
just
is dictated.
But just having some sort of control, man. Yeah. Like you can't say anything to these kids, bro. Like I don't know, but I guess it's because parents are trying to be friends, man. Trying to be their kids' friends. Like you know, your kid don't need a friend right now. Your kid
needs a parent.
Your kid needs a parent. Yeah. Like your kid could be your friend when they're an adult. Because like. And you know, when you're a kid, you don't understand that. You're like, why are you telling me this? Like, you don't like to be told what to do by your parents. I get it, believe me, I know. But like, you know, now that I'm an adult, I understand what my mom and my dad were trying to do.
I comprehend my mother a lot more now. I have 2 children. She raised 4 by herself, so it's a different. So let's talk about the show. DPH on Rothenberg, which I believe is probably one of the top 4, top 5 talk shows, sports talk shows all time.
Already.
I think the chemistry between Dave and Rick is phenomenal. I think the fact that Dave is borderline psychotic with his fandom, and Rick being an athlete, a former athlete, of his caliber, like he was number 1 prospect.
Yes, he was.
Drafted first pick. People thought, Rick was going to be like the greatest goalie of all time. Things don't always pan out that way. And then just you and RJ, throw you and RJ in that mix, and the chemistry you 4 have. I dare say, and Michael K proposed in cargo shorts. One day, Don was ripping on him, Don LaGreca, and I called in and I said, Michael, don't worry. I proposed in a Beatles shirt, and cargo shorts as well. So I got his back on certain things, but I think you guys are way better than
Well, I appreciate that. I
Peter
feel,
K. and Rosenberg.
I feel like we haven't hit our stride yet because we're still kind of figuring things out.
You're right.
But
But the chemistry, what you guys got, it's only a matter of time before ESPN says, hey, I mean, you're probably number 1. I don't know what the numbers are, but morning-wise.
Numbers are a weird animal, man, because like we look at the numbers and like they're not necessarily where we'd like them to be, and they're probably not gonna be where, because this is New York. First of all, and you gotta understand, like the demographics is what they are.
Who are we
set,
listening to if we're not listening to DNR?
Well, here's the thing: like that, if you're listening to sports, you're listening to sports. You got 2 choices: you got us, or you got the other show. I think it's Boomer and Gio, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
and that's not something I want to hear.
But like the stuff that's popular in New York is always going to be like, okay, well,
The Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club popular. Hot 97s with Ebro is always going to be popular in the morning. Vacilón de la Mañana, that's always going to be popular, bro.
Vacilón, yeah.
So things like that's where eyeballs is going to go. There's so much competition already in this town. We're brand new, bro. like we just stepped into this. It used to be a whole other show in that slot, and it was a different animal. For like 20 years, Mike and Mike was running that, and they did okay. And they did okay, but not to like what you wanted for drive time in New York. And then change.
I love Mike and Mike. Watched them for years. I still think DNR. If you've never listened, now Dan Graza, when he's in there, I'll listen for a bit. I'll turn off. I'll turn back on. I'll turn off. I'll turn back on.
That's my dude, though.
But if you listen to when Dave and Rick are there and RJ and Ray are there, just listen to an episode.
I got to tell you, it's a good combo, like you said, because Dave is a borderline psychopath, and Rick knows how to push the button.
Give me an example of Dave's fandomhood. Just a wild example. And let's just say Giants, because I think he's crazy over the Giants.
The kid that was a Cowboys fan that he wouldn't let ride in his car unless he took the hat off.
He disappeared 2 days.
He disappeared like after they lost the Super Bowl. Like no, not the Super Bowl. I think when they lost to San Francisco off that crazy ending.
It wasn't even a Super Bowl.
Wasn't even a Super Bowl. I think it was when they lost on that crazy ending to San Francisco in the playoffs. Like he disappeared for a few
2 days.
For 2 days. Like checked into a hotel and everything, bro. Like
didn't even want to see his wife.
He spent like 10 G's to go to the Super Bowl when they lost to Baltimore that 1 year. He went off the deep end when they lost that game.
And then he took a loan out to go to a Super Bowl.
That was it. He took a loan out for that. He apparently threw a treadmill through a window one time because they had lost. There's a famous story about like he took like medication to fly because he couldn't handle like the flying.
He still does.
It was after the Giants had lost to the Cowboys. On top of that. And like he just kind of went off the deep end, like did crazy, but he did crazy thing. Like he poured like vinegar on his wedding DVD, bro. Like,
wow.
None of this is made up, by the way.
No, this is all factual.
This is all factual. I've confirmed it with his wife. I've confirmed this with Sherry. She says this stuff all happened.
Wow.
I always tell the lady, like, you must be some sort of saint. Like,
and Rick is just a guy that played hockey.
But he's not just the guy that play hockey because
he
his
hang
brain,
out with him. He
his
seems like
brain works in a different way than people. Like he's quick. Like he's
yes, and I think he would actually be good as a general manager on a team because
Probably
he has a good.
He probably would be. Actually,
He probably has
He's
a
got
good.
good
He's got a good
ideas.
sense of the game. He does.
Not just hockey, but my dude, like, and he studies. He does
And I'm
his
talking
homework.
about baseball.
But,
and Rick's not.
but he does his homework, bro.
Yeah.
Like he really he knows the ins and outs of baseball, football, hockey, of course, but even the NBA. But he does nothing but obviously when he's spending time with his kids and coaching and all that stuff. But like in his spare time, like he's reading up on all these statistics, so he'll have all this stuff that he needs to talk about almost any subject. And he is hungry for any sort of information you can give him. He'll ask me or RJ to like research. Hey, can you get me this? Like get me like Aaron Judge's OPS in like the last 15 games. I just want to see something. Like he'll bring that back in an argument like right away. Like boom. Like and again like not just that stuff, but like I said, he knows how to push Rothenberg's buttons, and he also like just because he's a little bit on the. I don't want to say zany because I feel like that's like a overused word, but like his brain works differently than normal people. Like he still sometimes thinks he's in the locker room.
Rick is a rock star. Legit.
That's a good.
Anybody that tunes into the radio show in the morning would want to hang out with Rick.
No doubt about it. Everyone loves that guy.
100%.
And when we first started getting him on the air, like that's all we heard from people. Like, I was a Rangers fan. I hated your ass. But I love you on the radio, man. Like, you're great.
I listen, I'm a Rangers fan, but Rick is, when he talks Islanders, cool, I get it. He got drafted, that was the team, whatever. But him talking baseball, because people don't know, Rick actually wanted to be a baseball player, not a hockey player.
Yeah, he did.
And then he has a passion for basketball.
I sometimes feel like his favorite day is when he took BP with the Mets, bro. I think that's like his favorite day.
And he talks about how he became a Mets fan. So it wasn't like he was born a Mets fan like me. So it kind of gives me some validity. That's why, and we got the same name. So Rick, I kind of like, I love Dave. He's a Giants fan. And I kind of feel like that's what my brain does when the Giants lose. But I don't actually do it. But I'm glad there's someone that does it for me.
But you know what? You get a little entertainment value out of it because at least you could say, bro, at least I didn't do that.
I could bring that back to my wife.
I used to think I was a bad loser as a kid, man, because like when like certain teams would lose, like when the Knicks lost like that one series to the Heat, like I was mad, bro. Like I tore posters down and stuff. But I was a teenager. Like again,
I cried.
Like I was upset.
John Starks, 1994, cried. Like
that was hard to accept.
Because Game 6. He was on it.
He was on it, and I still think that Hakeem fouled him on that last shot, bro.
Yeah,
I still
he
feel
was
that
on
way.
it. And then if OJ wouldn't have did what he did, we wouldn't have to wait an extra 2 days to watch Game 7. He's not here nor there. So you work for MSG, you work for ESPN.
Yep.
Avid Rangers fan, avid Knicks fan, and you work for ESPN. Out of the two gigs, which one do you? Not that you favor more, because I don't want to put you on record on that. But you got to pick one out of the two.
Man, that's tough because like they're totally different, like totally different jobs. With the radio, it's we go off the cuff a lot, and we're reacting to what's happening in real time or the night before, like or something stupid that I said or RJ said or Rick or Dave said, and we'll have fun with that. When we're doing the MSG thing, it's straight business. We got a structure, and we're gonna follow the games. I will tell you though, these past 2 years with MSG have been like the most fun, like doing work I've felt in my life because the Rangers went on that one like insane run in the playoffs, and
they have the last couple of years. They've been pretty decent.
It sucks that they haven't like gone all the way,
over the hump.
But like some of those moments, like that Game 7 against Pittsburgh when Panarin scored that goal, bro, like I was right there on ice level. And like, bro, like I can't even like describe to you like the building, like feeling like it was gonna explode when he scored that goal. Like that was crazy, and that to me was like that was the best moment I ever experienced in the Garden until last year, Game 3 against the Cavs, bro. Start to finish.
Is this Brunson's 40-something point game?
I think it was that game. I can't remember which one was the 40-something. It was Game 3
Starks
or Game 4?
was sitting on that.
No, because that was the one where everyone was there at Game 3. Like everyone was there. Melo was there. Starks was there.
Stoudemire.
Stoudemire
said
like
Knicks player, former Knicks player.
Yeah,
and then next to Melo it said Knicks legend.
But like, but bro, like the building start to finish was jumping, bro. Like that's like when I was a kid and I would watch it on TV. Like, bro, that's
That's what it
that's
felt.
what it felt like watching from home. Is like so like I had a moment, man, and like and I'm there, and like Alan Hans over here to my left. We had my bad. We had just people all around. I saw Patrick Ewing, bro. I saw Patrick Ewing and his family. Like, bro, this is incredible. Like, this is what it's supposed to be like, and like that was incredible. Like, and honestly, even game 2 against Miami, because we had won that one. Like that one, I thought like, man, this could be special. At that point, I thought we had them for a second. I really thought we were gonna take.
So
Miami.
did I. I thought
really
in 6 or 5 we would have moved on, and it was Milwaukee was not gonna go. Then whatever, yeah. So you're saying fan wise, MSG?
Yeah, because man, the fan, I can't help it. Like the fan come out of me sometimes when I'm watching those games because I'm fortunate. Yeah, I'm doing the job, but also at the same time, like bro, I was a fan of both those teams growing up. Like I remember '94. I remember what that summer was like, and like working in that building.
Could
like
have had 2 titles that
but like
year.
it stirs up like those old feelings. Like that. Like that's why I fell in love with sports. At like if you really take it back then, like that was a golden era for me, man. Because I was watching the Knicks when the Knicks were battling the Bulls, the Rangers won a cup, the Yankees were becoming good again, and the Cowboys were nice. It was good. I thought it was my God-given right to see all my teams win back then. It ain't been the same ever since, though. That's how it goes, man.
That speaks to your creative side, I guess.
Yeah, because like you get to do more. You get to have more. Like I said, like MSG is very structured. It's play by play. I got a pregame show and a postgame show to work with, but even that is like very structured. Hey, I'm gonna hear from Tom Thibodeau. He's got this to say. I'm gonna hear from the other coach. I'm gonna hear from Brunson, Julius, and RJ, and it's gonna be relevant stuff to the game. That's it. Like I can get creative, with a certain highlight or something like that, but it's not the same. Like you got to follow a structure for those type of things, and that's not because of the company or anything. That's just it's play by play. It's a totally different animal. When the best way I can describe it is when you're doing play by play, and also the pre and post game shows, opinion can't enter the fray
Absolutely
at all.
not.
Like
it has to be facts.
everything you say on that
story,
microphone,
the game,
like
yeah.
it's got to be the story of the game, and it's got to be factual. You can't tell anything on there that's an opinion. And that's the biggest difference between play-by-play and what I do in the morning. When you do in the morning, let the opinions fly, man. Like stand by what you say. Don't say stuff. This is not for this is my big problem with the industry today, man. Like people say stuff just to say it. Like let's get a reaction. Like this is the first take generation, bro, and like it drives me nuts, man, when I see somebody go on TV and say something that they know it. I know that's not true, bro.
Like Hollis saying. It was him and Shaq. It was the one and only time Shaq was on it. We had an argument about it. Hollis saying he believed LeBron was the greatest player of all time, and Shaq had just walked onto the set. He was like, "Wait, what?"
He said it just because Shaq was there.
He was like, "Hold on, you're skipping Kobe." He's like, "Yeah. I'm gonna go with LeBron over Kobe," and completely dismissed Kobe. And Shaq was like, "Yo," and this is Kobe hadn't passed yet. Kobe was still alive. And that's when he was like, and then he turns to Max. He's like, Max, how many finals Mike went to? How many rings he won? And Max Kellerman was like 6 for 6. Never saw Game 7. Yada yada yada. So all the stats that people.
It's crazy that we keep going to LeBron and
it's gonna
Kobe
be the
and Jordan,
argument
like
for a lifetime.
That's like the go-to argument. For
I just don't like
man.
the fact that people dismiss Kobe sometimes out of that argument.
He gets forgotten, man, and that shouldn't be, because Kobe was that dude for an entire decade plus, man. And like a lot of people forget that because like Shaq was there for those first few titles, and I don't think they can win without one or the other.
A ton of guys. If you look at the top players in the NBA now,
look at them
most
all,
of
bro.
them Mamba mentality. They're all Kobe guys.
All Kobe guys. What do you do when you shoot at the wastebasket, bro? You shout Kobe.
Kobe, exactly.
Like so,
Kobe,
you don't shout MJ. You don't shout LeBron.
Never
you shout
forget
Kobe.
this. Melo, my favorite player of all time.
Right.
Besides Starks, Ewing, Mace, Oakley, Melo this era, I always liked Melo. Melo was Nick, and there was a time where they were trying to change his game, and Kobe was like, Melo's a shooter. Melo doesn't need to change anything he's doing. He just needs to be Melo. And that's where Melo got that whole thing from, be Melo, from Kobe. And look, Melo, that's not even that long ago, and he's one of the players that got influenced by Kobe.
Somebody just said, damn, I feel bad because I don't remember who it was, but somebody who was a Lakers teammate with Kobe had shared a screenshot of a text that he had, like one of the last texts he had with him, and it's Kobe. He's like shooting a fadeaway with like 4 Houston Rockets in his face, bro. He's like, bro, it was Ariza. Yeah, it was Trevor Ariza. And something like, bro, you really shot this shot. And Kobe's response was like, all right, well, that's more opportunity for y'all to get the rebound, bro.
Exactly. Like, so I'm gonna play. You guys do Cuddle Marry Trash on DNR. So
Great game.
we're gonna play this right now. I'm gonna do it with your host though. With your colleagues, your coworkers. So DNR and RJ, Cuddle Marry Trash, Rick, Dave, and RJ.
Damn.
And you best believe this is a clip we're gonna send to them.
Because here's where it gets dangerous, man. Mm-hmm. Because like I literally cannot. The show is not successful without either one of them.
Okay.
Any one of them. Like it's not what it is.
I just said it sounds weird without.
So
them.
So I feel like the show really took off when we brought RJ in because it gave us a little more structure and focus. And RJ does a really good job of driving us, making sure that ship stays where it's supposed to.
So you're calling the new daddy, RJ.
I think I'm marrying the new daddy.
Married.
Like,
I'm sorry.
I think I'm marrying the new
married.
daddy, bro, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And you're cuddling?
I think I'm gonna cuddle Rick because of.
I knew this was gonna be your answer.
Well, listen, I think I've given this answer on the show before. Like, and again, I keep thinking it, and I keep like, can I give another answer? At the end of the day, I really can't. I gotta cuddle Rick because of he's always keeping us on our toes. And making sure that we're paying attention because if we're not paying attention, something's gonna slip by and we're gonna get taken off the air. So I don't need those problems. But like he just brings an element that no other host that I've ever worked with brings. It's like that rock star element. And I'm only trashing Dave because I know it annoys him. And we got NFL week 1 coming up, Giants Cowboys. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that for the 7th time in the last 10 years or whatever it's been. So
you're bringing it up.
I'm gonna politely discard Dave, as he likes to say.
So Dave's not allowed to do it. So I'm gonna put a friendly wager with you. We'll discuss the terms afterwards.
All right.
Whether it's monetary or not. Giants, Cowboys. You think your team wins and meets the spread first week?
What's the spread right now?
Kaba, can we look that up?
It's probably it's at the Meadowlands. It's probably gonna be like 3 or 4.
I admire you and
Mm-hmm.
I always like everybody loves Raymond. That's why I titled this episode that.
Word?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's interesting actually.
So what's your take, Mr. Santiago?
With the whole field, so they think they're even.
You guys.
I'm not.
Zico.
I swear. But here's the thing. I think the Cowboys are better, bro.
With Tony Pollard running the ball.
It's not even about Tony Pollard, honestly. Because, like, they brought in 2 dudes who I think, like, if they had these 2 dudes last year, I think they're a better team. Like, if they had Brandon Cooks and Stephon Gilmore on the team last year, I think they beat San Francisco, bro. Like, real talk, I think they beat them. Because last year, their number 2 receiver was Noah Brown. You know Noah Brown?
Nobody knows.
Noah Brown was a special teams ace for like 5 years, and that's like he was a stud. You know the up back on the punt team, the personal protector, the dude that protects the punter. Mm-hmm. That was Noah Brown for like 4 years, bro. That was his job. And it's like he was the 5th receiver on the roster, bro. He was the number 2 receiver.
Better receivers give Dak. You think Dak's worth the money?
I think
I've
having
heard you
a receiver,
Dak on the radio
I think
before.
having a second receiver that he can count on. Yeah, he had Michael Gallup last year, but Michael Gallup couldn't run routes, bro. He didn't trust his knees. Like, he was coming off the torn ACL, and, like, that happened in January. You know, like, usually you need a year plus to get right. He came back in, like, 8 months, something like that. So, like, he never really was trusting his knee right. He supposedly looks better.
This
but now
is Ray's opinion on the Cowboys.
But Gallup is your number 3 receiver now, right? So that's I'll stay on offense. Why I think they're better. I love Zeke, bro. I think Zeke was an excellent protector,
I
a
think
short
he was their
yardage back.
personality.
Yeah.
I think he was the Cowboys.
No, man, I don't know
Not
if that he
Dak.
was the
No, I think you think Cowboys, you
No.
think Zeke.
Well, you 2016 to 17, you would have been right. Maybe even 2018. But like I think over the past 2 years, like Dak has been like the more the forefront of the team, and you kind of see that in the way it's been covered.
Again, guy I can't stand to watch on TV, but I respect. He came back off. We injured him. It wasn't on purpose. Came back off the injury, and he's just going about it the right way.
So they got Brandon Cooks with aside from being a proven number 2 receiver now, the dude got speed, bro. He got jets. And
Still, you think
he's only 29 years old, man. He's only 29.
kind of old for a receiver, though?
But see, here's the thing: he's not a number 1. CeeDee Lamb is the number 1,
Of course.
So he, having that as a number 2. Gallup is now your number 3. They got this. Watch out for this other kid, Jalen Tolbert, the kid they drafted last year. He gave them nothing last year because he wasn't ready to contribute. He was out of Southern Alabama. They used a 3rd round pick on him, so that was kind of disappointing. Bro, he's had an outstanding training camp. So he's your number 4. So you good at wide receiver now. The offensive line is healthy for the first time in like 2 years. So now, if they lose one of those guys, come back to me.
Just re-signed Martin.
They re-signed Martin's back. Tyron Smith is back. They got everybody. Like now, if they lose one of those guys, I don't feel good about the backups. Like I have a different conversation with you because like I worry if they got to deal with that. And offensive linemen do get hurt. That's for real. Defensively, the second corner last year was Anthony Brown, and he was all right. But like anytime somebody was really getting beat, it was him. Even though he was in position, he just wasn't big enough to make plays. Stephon Gilmore, that's a Hall of Fame player right there, bro. Like, and even if he has lost a step, and I don't think that he has, like for another year or two, he's probably like the most cerebral corner in the game. Like he knows what dudes are doing when they line up out there. So to have like somebody you can rely on as your second corner, again, I don't need an all world player there. I just need somebody that can cover, that can do his job. And they didn't have that last year. Again, at the second corner or the second receiver. So I feel like a lot better. Like if I look at like the roster, linebacker, defensive line, like I don't see like where their like real weakness. Usually you look at a team, you say, all right, their weakness is defensive tackle.
I got your weakness. I'll tell you right now.
All right, you bet you.
He's not on the field.
Who's that? The kicker?
Nope. Head coach.
See, here's the thing about Mike McCarthy. I'm not a Mike McCarthy guy. I am not a Mike McCarthy guy. I didn't like the hire. I don't like his clock management. And I think he gets a lot of shit because
decisions he makes.
He's kind of goofy looking sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think people kind of get on for that. What's the difference between Mike McCarthy and Sean Payton? Can you tell me a difference between them?
I'll tell you the difference. Sean Payton, when his offense is going, they're always on. Sean Payton's always had a high-powered offense. Mike
McCarthy's had a high-powered offense every year.
Barely. And I don't think he doesn't. The points.
They score 30 points a game, man, when the quarterback's healthy.
Sean Payton puts points on the board. McCarthy, I don't think points on the board. And I'm going to give you my score. I think it's 24-21 Giants week 1. And I think the Giants get around 9-10 wins this year.
28-20, Dallas.
28-20.
28-20. And here's why. I think the Giants are better. I think they've gotten some weapons for Daniel Jones.
Not good enough. I think
not good enough.
I think one more player.
You got a great defensive coordinator in Wink Martindale. You got great pieces on your defense. You traded for Isaiah Simmons.
Made a good trade today. Yeah.
Like that's a 7th rounder. Like even if he totally is a bust, that's a hell of a trade. That's a good trade. Joe Shane's a good GM. Brian Daboll's a good coach. I like Brian Daboll a lot. I hate that y'all have him. Like when they signed McAdoo, when they brought in what's his name?
Sherman from Minnesota.
Or what's his name? Joe Judge, or I laughed because when they made these hires, bro, because that dude's like the Giants hired this dude. That dude's.
I kind of thought Joe Judge brought them in the right idea and ideology. I just didn't think he didn't execute anything. A lot of people got excited by his press conference. You know who was all over like Joe Judge like right away? Shermer did a better job than him.
No, you know who was like all over like Joe Judge opening press conference? And this dude's a clown. Like you know who was all over that? RJ was all over that, bro. He said Joe, this dude is a clown, bro. like the Giants are gonna wish they didn't hire. He was 100% right on that.
We got it right now. Brian Daboll's the coach to have.
You got a good coach. That being said, bro, I still like. Your offensive line, the tackles are good.
Yes.
Your offensive line, y'all got a soft little middle.
I'm not 100% sold on Jones.
And
our tight end is often injured.
And not for nothing, we're still gonna score points. Like y'all made your improvements on defense. We're still gonna score points. Like you gonna be able? Are you gonna be able to score points with us? Our defense is good, bro.
I think we win the first game. It'll be a close second when we play again, but I do think we do make the playoffs. We don't win the division, so that's why I said like 9-10 games. That's why I see it.
This is not me being a fan, and if you listen to what I was saying last year as a Cowboy fan and the year before and all that stuff, I was always going into the season like, I don't feel good. Something's like off with the team. I don't feel good. Like we don't have good interior defensive linemen. Last year was the second receiver. Last year was the second corner. They lost Tyron Smith for a while. Like I had real problems, and I was scared of that San Francisco matchup, and with good reason. They lost to them both times. Like so, I ended up being right. This year coming into the, and y'all can mark this, and it'll probably maybe it come back to bite me in January, bro. I think this is the best team they've had since the 90s. Better than the 2017.
Really?
I think this is better than the 2017. For real. Top to bottom. Because, again, I don't see where the real weakness is. Like, yeah, we can talk about McCarthy. But, like, is he really that much of a weakness? Like, is he a great head coach? No. He's not a great head coach, but he's a good head coach. Again.
He's decent.
Here's a thing for you.
He won a Super Bowl with Rodgers.
He won a Super Bowl. But again, Sean Payton won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, but he did something last year that no coach in Dallas did since Jimmy. 12 wins back to back. That hasn't happened. That's not a thing that they've done. So he's consistently
the Cowboys
winning.
have had an amazing defense and a great offensive line.
Right.
For years now.
No. They've had a good defense for 2 years, and the offensive line. I'm gonna tell you right now,
the offensive line's always been one of their strengths.
No. The offensive line was the last time the offensive line was a strength was 2018 when they lost Travis Frederick. It all fell apart. That offensive line has been not struggling, but they've been average. Like at their peak, they've been average. Zach Martin's still a beast, but like when you didn't have Tyron Smith at the left tackle, it was a turnstile over there. The center, Travis Frederick, was a great center, and he got sick and his career ended. Like they almost didn't know what to do when that happened. And again, it caught them by surprise with the season. They've been trying to replace him forever. Tyler Biadasz, he made the Pro Bowl last year, but I don't think he's like that dude. But he's good enough. You could win with that. It's like across the offensive line, they're solid. That's not a great offensive line. They do their jobs.
So where do they finish this year?
Dallas? I think if everything,
they got what it takes to beat Philly, because I think Philly's the team everybody.
100%. Because they had what it took to beat Philly last year. Even last year. Philly got talent. Philly got talent everywhere.
I think Philly's got everywhere, all three sides of the ball.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about it. But Dallas beat them. Dallas did beat them. And again, I don't want to hear about like, oh, well, Jalen Hurts didn't play that game. Yeah, well, Dak Prescott didn't play the first game. And that game was close in the third quarter.
I know you're not comparing Dak and Jalen.
Why not? Why not? Talk to me. Why not?
My knock on Dak Prescott has always been his arm, and he's not a pocket passer to me.
And so what is Jalen? Jalen threw the ball in the fourth quarter less than anybody last year, bro. Yeah, less than anybody.
In the fourth quarter, you want to run. You want to kill the clock.
Right. He's a great runner. I'm not convinced that Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback.
Jalen has more. To me, he has more talent. And I hate the Eagles. Has more talent than Prescott.
He's a better athlete than Dak Prescott.
Prescott might be the better person because he's obvious.
No, Jalen Hurts is a great person. Great person.
No, but
he's a good dude.
Dak's character is unquestionable in the NFL.
I think Jalen's is too. But again, like Dak Prescott, you're right. He just won Man of the Year, and that's not for nothing.
Yeah.
But I'm not convinced.
I've never thought he was a top.
Everything
that
they said about Dak Prescott after year 3, year 4 was that, oh, man, he's carried by the talent around him. Yeah. How come we don't say that about Jalen Hurts? How come we don't say that? That offensive line in Philly's better than any line that Dallas ever had. Way better.
He's just the talent. Jalen Hurts is he's a bad man.
He's a bad man, but why? Why is he a bad man throwing for 22 touchdowns more than Dak Prescott? Because he played the Giants in the playoffs and the 49ers with no quarterback. That's how we
I
feel.
think he's gonna end up with a Super Bowl or
Look,
two.
bro, let me tell you,
when
if Dallas
he's all said and done.
if Dallas got to play the Giants and the 49ers with no quarterback last year, that would have been them in the Super Bowl too. That would have been a lot of teams that would have been in that Super Bowl.
But you gotta get past Pat Mahomes.
Well, they probably wasn't. And you know what? The Eagles didn't either. So it's all good. It's all good.
So last question. If you weren't producing for ESPN or MSG, what would be? You said you did.
Because I did almost everything, man. Like as side jobs growing up, I did.
What's your like hidden passion? Like if you weren't producing, I know Rick DPH is gonna love this. If you weren't producing sports radio talk, what would you be doing?
If I wasn't producing, what would I be doing? I'd probably be doing some like video editing or something, man. Because I went to school like for broadcasting.
So
And
in
so,
films or
no, probably
television?
like television production, like that sort of thing. Because like I said, I worked at NBC
on
for a
Everybody
little
Loves
bit.
Raymond?
Not that type of stuff. Probably like news production or something like
News,
that. Like you know,
really?
like because I had a lot of. I went to school with a lot of people who like work across the industry in newsrooms. I know people. I went to school with people who are reporters now. People who are editors, directors. Like you know, it was always an industry. I ended up in radio because I did an internship when internships were still a thing.
It still is. It's very valuable to do it. It's something you can put on the resume.
And I feel like nobody does that anymore.
But they
though.
should.
yeah.
They should.
Right. So, but nobody wants to work for free. It's a different.
Yeah, but when you're in college,
Yeah.
what alternatives do you have? You get experience, and you're in the industry you want to work in.
So I did like promotions, like back when ESPN was 1050. I did I did promotions for. Do you remember PLJ, 95.5? That station. It was like a. I don't even want to say like a top 40, but they were like a contemporary. Like they played like Bon Jovi and stuff like that. And so I did like promotion stuff. I drove the truck, like.
Oh, like a street team.
Like
and
a street
stuff
team.
like that. Yeah.
Exactly. That's the stuff I was doing. So I did that until like the part-time opened up at ESPN, and I just kind of took that opportunity and ran with it. And so, yeah, man, I'd probably be doing something in the broadcast industry. Probably not radio. Like, again, I just kind of fell into it. And, like, when you're good at something, you just
Not hosting?
Yeah.
In the front of the mic?
You know what's funny, man? Because I always
You're
like,
getting real comfortable with it, right?
No, because I always thought that I would end up hosting at one point. But like I just became like focused on. I guess life gets in the way, man. You're just trying to focus on trying to keep working and making
be the best at what you do.
and be the best at what you're doing. And not for nothing, I feel like, and not sound cocky, I feel like I'm pretty good at my job. But
Cut that. Cut that clip right there.
I do feel I'm nice. Like again, I get that. Like it's not just like pushing buttons and turning mics on and stuff like that. You got to know how to create an atmosphere.
Well, your
like, one of the
coworkers say it all the time.
Yeah.
They praise you for what you do for everybody. That's why that show's so great. Everybody brings an element to it, and together, you know, that's why you guys, the Four Horsemen and all that stuff. Together, it's like the other day it was in. It was Dan Graza and it was like last week. It was Dan Graza and what's the name of the other co-host?
Oh, we had Pat O'Keefe do a couple shows. We had
No, it wasn't O'Keefe.
Rick did a couple, and
it wasn't. It was what was his last name?
Gordon Damer, maybe.
Damer.
Yeah, Gordon
Damer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like Damer. He was okay, but it was him and Graza, and I was like, you know, this ain't the same without. You know, Dave and Rick, you know, I get to hear RJ and Ray every once in a while.
They're probably too similar to each other. It's probably like if you got two hosts that are too similar to each other.
Well, they did an hour and 20 minutes on how bad the Yankees are.
Well, unfortunately, that's just like the talking point you keep coming back to, bro. Like it's tough. It's tough watching the Yankees. I gave up on them. I told them, bro, I hope they lose every game so that people start getting fired. Although based on things I've been hearing, maybe that's not going to be the case.
Well, they'll get fired, but they get replaced with the same person, just different.
Right,
name.
they keep it in the family. And not for nothing, that was the thing that I said, like that the Cowboys and the Yankees were very similar in that aspect because
they
like
share
because
business together.
Yeah,
Do you know that
the Empire
the
Sports,
hospitality,
the hospitality, yeah. But like they're very about keeping it in the family and and they say that their goal is to win championships, but really the goal is to stay competitive. And they're two winning teams. Like the Cowboys win a lot of games. The Yankees won a lot of games. And they make the playoffs a lot. But then, like, when it gets to the playoffs and they lose, well, listen, the playoffs is a crapshoot. It's, like you can't win the championship all the time. But the
best thing Dan Graza said was the Yankees were championship or bust. They haven't been championship or bust for the last 10, 15
And by the way,
years.
that's not anybody saying, "Oh, we need George back." No, we don't need George back, man. We just need good analytics and spending on the right people, man. Like we don't need to go throw money at each and every free agent. No, that's not it.
I think they need a little bit of everything. They need better scouting, better
100%.
minor league system,
100%.
Smarter spending.
Everyone talk about, they're looking at the analytics too much. Like, it ain't even the analytics.
They are.
Everybody does the analytics. The problem is the analytics team is ass. That's the problem. They don't use the analytics in the way that it's supposed to.
And
Everyone uses analytics.
I don't think
is just
Boone has a
study.
final saying on things. That's a problem.
But that's baseball now. Like managers, like they're there just to
I think Buck with the Mets, he'll read the numbers.
But Buck is old school.
Yeah, but I think Aaron Boone is a third generation player, right? You should let him trust his gut. I think there's moves that Aaron sometimes in-game decisions he wants to make.
I don't even got a problem with his in-game decisions. I don't even think Aaron Boone is that bad a manager.
I think he's a
to be
good
real.
manager.
Like,
I think
like
if you
him.
let him manage a little bit more old school, balance it with the analytics team got to go completely. You'll be better off. And then the Yankees, they had the baby bombers. What happened?
They traded him for Josh Donaldson and them boys. I don't know what to tell you. What a bad trade that was, bro.
Rick. I'm Rick. Ray. See, I'm already. Ray, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, man. Thank you for going over that. This was a lot of fun, man.
I would love to invite you back. So it's probably the first of many of you, except Cobb was looking at me like, okay, we're close to the end here. But you can listen to him and Rick and RJ and Dave from 6 to 10.
6 to 10. Monday through Friday.
ESPN Radio.
And if you can't listen then, man, we're everywhere. Podcast. Spotify, ESPN New York app. We got
Ray Santi on Instagram, Ray Santi on Twitter. I really do appreciate you coming down. And we didn't even get to the coffee aspect of it.
We do have the family coffee here right there. So that's the
Café Carizal.
Carizal, which is named for the village where my mother grew up in the mountains in San Jose de las Matas in the Dominican Republic. That coffee literally grows on the property that my grandmother's house is at. My mother's mother, in this case. The hat is my great-grandfather's hat, Papa Arturo. On the back label, you got the little bit of the story there. But we've been growing that coffee for like a century. And this is like the first time we brought it to the States.
This is the coffee that Ray doesn't do many videos, but he did a video about this coffee on his IG.
The Macho Man.
Yeah. So we'll try this out. We'll probably enjoy it. But thanks for stopping by. I really do appreciate it, Ray. And thanks for talking sports with us.
Yeah, man. Appreciate y'all having me. Appreciate the hospitality. This was a lot of fun.
Dave, Rick, he's coming for your job. We'll see you guys next week.
You feel that knock? I feel like Rocky in this one, baby. Let's go. Alright, check it.